Hello, I'm back. Everything's looking quite red, including me, and my lipstick is not this colour. It's just the colour settings on here, but we'll go with it because fiddling around just takes too long. So, some of you might already know me and that I wear a full upper denture and a lower partial. I only have 6 teeth of my own. Um, where have I been? Well, life decided that not only was I to lose most of my teeth, but that I also needed to lose another body part. This time it was my womb. So I had to stay in hospital and have a hysterectomy, an abdominal hysterectomy that was actually a bit more complicated. So, how to look after your dentures in hospital? For me, that was a concern. Obviously the biggest concern was everything going to go right with the surgery, but right there niggling away in the back of my mind, look at my red hands, um, was what if I lost my teeth? And I didn't want people to see me without them, because I personally don't like people to see me without them. I don't mind who knows that I've got them, don't hide that fact, but I don't like people seeing me without them. And of course this was going to be unavoidable in hospital, to a degree. So firstly, I made sure I had a tub, a denture pot, that has like a little clip lid. I got it. I'm over here in the UK and I picked that up at Superdrug, quite cheap, but the lid kind of clips a little bit, which means you're less likely to knock the lid off. I wrote my name, my date of birth, and I also put my teeth, my life on there, so that it could be traceable back to me should they get lost. When I went in for my surgery, I didn't have anybody with me. Well, I did initially, and then they went because I just, don't need a fuss. I'm just going to go down for the anaesthetic on my own. Now, I had to take them out in the corridor before I went into theatre, and the lovely nurse had come down with me and she took them away. That was quite hard to hand them over in a pot, take them out. Obviously, I'd made sure first that I didn't have any glue or anything on them. They were just in as they were, because you're not going to have access to clean the glue off. So that's really not going to be something that you're going to be able to do. So take the glue off first and just go down to theatre with them in. And if they're loose, just don't speak. just keep them in. Luckily, mine weren't loose, so I was fine. So I gave them to the nurse, and from that point on, my hand went over my mouth. So I laid on the bed, and I just laid like that. There was other staff members, theatre staff members, walking around looking at me, and then they come out and took me in. And they asked my name, and I spoke, and I explained that I hadn't got any teeth in. The anaesthetist, there was 3 ladies, and they were all lovely. And one of them, she was mad as the hatter and found it hilarious, but she was really nice about it. And I knew that they were going to see me the minute I'd gone to sleep for the operation, but for while I was awake, for my own dignity, if you like, I just kept my mouth covered. Now, when I come round, I don't actually remember coming round. I don't remember being in recovery at all. And I've had surgeries in the past, and I do remember being in recovery, but this time I didn't. But apparently there was complications for me and my surgery, and they kept me in recovery longer. So I remember being wheeled into the ward, and I had a piece of paper over my mouth, and all I kept saying is, "Where's my teeth? Where's my teeth? Where's my teeth? Give me my teeth." My family were there, and I'm saying, "Give me my teeth." Apparently it was an A4 piece of paper. I'd asked for it. I have no recollection of it. So even in recovery that I can't remember, obviously as soon as I woke up, that was my first thought, was I needed to cover my face and I needed my teeth, but I couldn't get them till I was back on the ward. So I entered the ward with other people who I couldn't see while I was flat out on the bed with a big piece of paper over my mouth. Then a relative gave me my teeth, and I just popped them in. I only worried about the top ones. I wasn't worried about the bottom ones, which is probably a good thing, because I did feel quite unwell, and but I was happy that I got my teeth. So how I looked after them after that, I was pretty bedbound. I couldn't move for 2 days, so I didn't really eat. Sorry, my screen went dark. I didn't really eat, so that wasn't a concern because I was just so ill, because there had been complications. And so they just stayed in. I had my little pot with my name on, with the lowers in, on the little bedside table that comes across. And no, but none of the ladies who come and take the stuff away moved them or touched them because they could see my name on it. They could see it was a denture pot. So nobody cleared it away by accident. One thing you must never do is put them in tissue and put them on your bedside, because the people who come round, who clean up, are likely to throw them in the bin. Even in the pot itself, they went into a little bag and then into the pot when I took them out before I went into theatre, so that no point were they ever wrapped in tissue. Never ever wrap them in tissue and leave them anywhere, because you're likely to lose them. Keep them in the pot or in your mouth. So there stayed my pot. I did ask the nurses and family members occasionally to help me clean them. I only did it a couple of times because I could barely move. For me, I still didn't really want the nurses to see, like the ward nurses, and I had the curtain pulled around me a lot of the time anyway because of what was going on with me. But you can always ask for the curtain to be pulled round if you can't get up and you want to do your teeth and you can't get to the toilet and the sink in there to clean them. It was a few days before I could actually get up and give them a proper clean, in the sink, in the toilet, which was quite hard. If you've had a major surgery and you're finding it difficult to move, I was terrified of dropping them because it's not your sink where you're used to doing it. So take extra care. If you have someone, a relative who you don't mind seeing come in with you just to help you if you're a bit wobbly, or because this sink was very small, there was nowhere to really do it properly, but I managed to do it without dropping them, even though I could barely stand up, because they're so important to me. There was a day where I was sick profusely, and they had to come out, but the curtains were pulled and I did have to just put them to the side and sit in the horrible cardboard paper hats that they look like now. One of the old fashioned metal kidney bowls, you now get like a paper cardboard hat that stinks. I hate the smell of that cardboard. I don't know what it is. So I had to take them out to be sick, and the sicking was violent and unexpected. So the first time was a bit of a shock because there was literally a second to just get them out and someone shove a bowl under me so that I could be sick. As soon as I'd felt like I'd finished, I put them back in and then asked for assistance to clean them. But as the day went on, I had to do it more, and then ended up having to hand them to a relative, quick, sharp. So that's something that you don't know if that's going to happen if I don't sick normally if I have an anaesthetic, but again, because there was complications and it was all quite awful. So some of the nurses did get to see me without them, and they were lovely about it. They were fine. Weren't so lovely about other things, some of them, but the ones that I encountered over the teeth on those occasions that had to help me were great. I did end up with a mouthful of thrush, probably because I wasn't eating, wasn't cleaning them as much as I would have been if I'd been at home. But on the whole, they stayed in, even though I was really, really ill. And as I said, I didn't really bother with the bottom ones. For me, I have 6 natural teeth left, so that does fill out that bottom lip a little bit. But even if I didn't have them, I don't think I would have bothered, because if you do feel really ill and you think you might be sick, that's extra to worry about. And it's the top lip situation for me that I'm more concerned about. If you don't have a relative who's seen you without them, just trust in the nurses. I asked not to be visited by lots of family. I only wanted my sons there and one of my sisters who had seen me without teeth, and that was because in case I was so ill that I didn't have my teeth in, I didn't want people to see me. But that's up to you. Maybe all your family knows or people have seen you. But when you're so ill, it's still a concern, of course, but ultimately your main priority is getting better. And yes, having peace of mind that you feel as happy as you can in terms of your teeth in is part of healing, but it's not the be all and end all, because you don't know where that surgery is going to go. The main thing is that you look after them, you go into hospital with them, and you come out with them unbroken, undamaged and still there. So, sorry, screen went dark again. So as I said, get a little pot. If we can get one that clips shut, great. Have a bag inside it, not tissue, you know, when you give it over to just before you go into theatre to the nurses or a relative. You know, use your hand if you want. Find a piece of A4 paper from where, I don't know. I mean, my oldest son was amazed that, given how completely out of it I was, that I was still covering my face and asking for my teeth, because I was so ill. So that's it. Date of birth, name. Never put them in tissue. Never put them in tissue and put them down on your bed, on the side, in someone's hand. Nothing. Either keep them naked, naked teeth, so people can see their teeth, or in that pot, or in your mouth. And good luck, and don't worry. You know, I worried, not overtly, but enough that it played on my mind a bit. Don't worry, you will go in, and if you make sure they're labelled and not in tissue, you should come out with them fine. So good luck if you're going for surgery, and keep smiling. I did, even though I felt really awful, I still managed to smile at the nurses, even some of the ones that weren't so nice, and especially the ones who were lovely. So yeah, there we go. And I may make a video about my surgery, which was a hysterectomy with complications. And but this was just to cover that. So good luck for now. Bye-bye.